Hello, my friends. We're right back where we left off. Back doing some more pointless challenges. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with these pointless challenges, we have completed our first objective, which is taking the first 100 dupes that are on offer from the printing pod and not wasting any time with that. Only producing manual power and producing every food type. So here we are from our last video. We might die, in short. The thing we need to watch out for is this dirt. When this dirt runs out, we're dead. So I need to find ways to produce food that does not require dirt, and that's what we're working on now. So we have started working on a chamber for mushrooms, which I need to actually complete the pipe that was coming out from over here because I have not done that yet. So let's get this going. And then I need to eventually set up some automation to deal with this, but for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and cram it in. And then I need to probably prioritize the bottom of this so that we get mushrooms in here as soon as possible. As this loads, there we go. Priority 7 and priority 7 all this stuff just to get it done and start getting the carbon dioxide we desperately need to grow these. Hook up some power, get rid of that. Another thing that also really struck me is we were trying to increase... Oh, I need to... Oh, this is off. Okay, cool. Oh, we got a new one. All right, cool. Let's grab this one and put it in there. But we need to also make these eggs hatch faster. I don't know why I'm not putting these inside incubators, but that's going to be... Ultimately, our solution is right here. So I need to start incubating these things, which I should have been doing in the last video. Which, if you were there... at your computer screen basically yelling at me, being like, oh man, you need to start incubating those, you're gonna die. I think I hear that, but it takes me a little while to actually process it, because I do the same thing where I'll record a whole segment, or I'll do something like that, and then I'll see it before I post it to make sure that it actually makes sense, which sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it does. And I will realize that, what I'm doing is very silly, and I am really wasting a lot of time and wasting a lot of resources, but at least we're in suspense. So I'm going to set up a little bit of an incubation area over here. And actually, I need to move this just a little bit. We move this over by 1, which means that needs to go, this needs to go, and this needs to be deconstructed. I'm just going to make a little bit of an incubation area that's kind of islanded, like I did with up here, so that once they're hatched, if they happen to get loose or anything like that, then I can go ahead and capture them without them going all over my base. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's fine. So let's keep this one deconstructed, cancel, and I'm just going to put ladders there instead whenever it comes up. We do need power. I'll leave a space there for that. Get some tiles on this side so we actually make a room. I don't know if this room is going to be too big, but all I need it to be is separate from everything else so that it's not getting confused as far as which critters I want to capture. Probably not necessary, but it maybe just be a little bit cleaner. So we drop some incubators in here, like so, as I mess up, which of course. And we'll just drop a couple ladders in here as well. So that we can move around, but they cannot. So this ought to do it. Get some power going. Speaking of which, let's check on our mushrooms and make sure this is getting up. Almost there, so let's capture or copy one of these. And there we go. Alright, and then I think I have carbon dioxide hooked up to start flowing through here, so once it detects it, it should. Oh, I don't have any automation hooked up quite yet. See the bugs that we make and potentially put our lives at risk because we're being too careless. Get some carbon dioxide being detected. That is a pretty big priority right now. And then I'll close off the rest of this too as it starts getting built. So I'm going to start prioritizing this next level. As it's getting built, I will build in the walls. And then the carbon dioxide will ideally start settling down in a place that I want it to, which is down here. Something I also noticed is that this is a little bit warm. I may need to take some measures to cool this down a little bit, so we might as well do some of that right now. Let's just do something really dumb, like this, I guess. There. That'll cool it down. We're definitely not using any half-baked solutions here. Oh, there's another place I could put this too. Let's go ahead and drop some mushrooms here, just because we already have carbon dioxide. Whatever. Doom clock is at 169, so we're still getting close. Copy some settings here. I do want to keep these airflow tiles on the other levels so that they can share the carbon dioxide throughout this area, so we've got this going. Again, we've got an army of dupes. We have probably like 65 to 70 of them that are regularly out on the map, so when you need something done, they just march in and get something done. So that's a really nice position to be in, considering we are so desperate to get something else up and running. Oh, by the way, somebody said something really intelligent in my comments, which is definitely par for the course. You guys have a lot of really great ideas. And that is to start ranching pips. The reason I'm not doing that, or I didn't figure that was the first solution, is because this is the only pip that I know of on the map. Which, by the way, he's probably been annoying these storage bins this whole game. I should have gotten him out of here a long time ago. But the problem is that I have to build up this population of pips, and I have to build up this population at the same time I'm trying to build up another critter population. So I'm going to start grabbing some pips and start ranching them, just for the sake of making sure I have a backup plan. It's very likely that I won't actually have a means to do this, but I do want to keep these guys around just in case I need to stay on that. The other thing to think about if we take a look at the seeds is we could potentially go with water weeds. We also still could go with something that requires peppers, but I don't think we actually have anything else, because I think peppers are only valuable if you can grow blossoms, which we've decided that we have no seeds for, which I can double check, but I don't see any of them. And if I do, I'm going to look really dumb after this, but also the other thing you can use with peppers is sleet wheat, which we also don't have any of, as far as I know. So if something happens to print, that may change our course. But for now, our best backup plan besides the mushrooms is pips. So I'm just going to make sure I keep one around. So I'm going to do something like this and make sure that doesn't get taken to the killing chamber. So let me take them off this, which has probably happened, actually. All right. We hooked up into carbon dioxide? Yeah, okay, we're there. Should probably start walling most of this off. So let me start doing that just so the carbon dioxide doesn't flow back down and get re-picked up. Oh, no! We're getting hosed. Okay. A little bit of a mess over here, but that's fine. Priority of construction needs to be higher than this so I can cool this down. Am I not sending water through here? Okay. Oh, it's just being cycled into there. Okay, I understand. Okay. Definitely a mess going on here, but what you gonna do? What we're gonna do is we're either gonna die or we are going to live on, so hopefully we get the latter of those two options. How's our incubation area going? I need to reprioritize this. This is very important because our long-term solution are these shovels and we're just not ready yet. We'll do this, and just in case one of them gets stuck, we can grab them out of there. Oh, by the way, I think I only like half explained the water weed situation. The water weed situation is we will need a lot of bleach stone, which these things do require bleach stone in order to grow. Let me see if I can find one. Here we go. Actually, it really doesn't take that much, so this may be an option. The only problem with this is I don't have a lot of salt water at my disposal. This is the only geyser that is producing it for me, and it's dormant right now. And I don't even have, like, a buildup of it, so that's also pretty scary. Oh, man, speaking of scary, my water is getting low as well. This is getting crazy. If we die, I will not be surprised at this point. It may just end there, and we may have failed our run, which I really don't want to happen because of all the investment that we've made so far. Let's go, army, go! Build the mushrooms! Thank you for working with no oxygen! I'm providing a terrible working environment! Alright. How many seeds do we have left, too? Fungal spores, we only have 30 seeds left. I don't even know if this is going to replace everything, so I'm going to need to... Yeah, starvation. It's going to get much worse if we don't solve this problem now. Do I have any excess salt water around the map? What I might do is I might need to go kind of exploring for salt water because the water weeds may be my only solution for the long term. So what I might do is just this. So that if I get salt water from anywhere, or I can just pump it into my network, it will immediately be used. There is salt water and stuff down here, so if I get desperate enough and the mushrooms are coming up too slowly, I could start getting water weeds up. Oh man, this life cycle is so slow. And it does take salt water and bleach stone. I don't have a ton of bleach stone, but I will get more by digging this out, so this is our backup plan. I think as soon as I get the mushrooms stabilized, I'm going to have to get on water weeds. The pips are the ultimate backup plan. This is going to take me so long to get up. This is if, like, for some reason this doesn't work out entirely. I can start producing more dirt. But that's going to take a little bit too long as well, too, also. So, yeah, this is crazy, guys. I don't know if we're going to live. And yes, I do consider, like, you can so I should also explain this too. You can always live in any regular run by just killing your dupes. That's something that I don't think enough people talk about, where if you have a really broken base and you just can't afford it, a lot of people will typically give up, and I understand why, because I've done that a lot of times too. But you don't have to. Like, you can't just always kill a whole bunch of your colonists and just live knowing that, you only need a small population to sustain. So if you ever find yourself stuck in a situation like this, I'm only going to say that we're dead because I don't want to drop under this 100 dupes, because that's the whole point of this run. But if you're in your own run and you're not restricting yourself to something silly like this, then you can kill your dupes if you need to get back on your feet. Like, it doesn't feel good, but it's an option, so that not all your work is wasted. And speaking of which, I don't remember if I've talked about this before, but I intended to. Eventually, I'm going to also set this to get every critter out of here, including this puffed. Eventually, what's going to happen is I'm going to go back and eventually make a series from my very first playthroughs, at least the ones that will still load, so that you guys can see what my bases looked like when I was first starting out. So that you can see, like, oh, this person's bases look exactly the same when I was starting, and now later on they look something like this with 100 dupes. So that if I want to get there, it's definitely reasonable, because I was a new player at one time too, and that's totally okay. But yeah, the whole point to that is basically that I will go back and show you how to fix a broken base. I will start off with my own bases that I have abandoned because they got so out of control, so that you can kind of see that in your own base as well and be like, oh, I know how to restore this if I want to keep on this run. But spoiler alert, for a lot of them, it's going to be a lot of killing off dupes. It's unfortunately the way we're going to have to make those things work. So look away if you are averse to dupe death, because that's definitely going to happen. All right, I'm being too casual about this. Let's see where we are. Priority 7. Get on the ones that we know need to be done. These ones are also getting filled. How many fungal spores do we have left? 18. Okay. My next plan, instead of getting the water weeds up too quickly, I'm going to go digging for more fungal spores, considering that will get me the benefit of both the slime, which will help us in the survival stage, but also we may find more fungal spores buried in here. Like here, this could be one, this could be one. So let me get the rest of this set up until we run out of fungal spores, and then I'm going to go digging for them. The water weed stuff is probably going to have to wait a little bit, but that's going to be also another option. The irony is that we're almost being forced to produce every food type just to live, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, pips and pipsqueaks, that's fine. And let me grab this guy. Where is he? Where'd he go? Must be on here somewhere. Am I blind? Where'd he go? Did he jump across? Okay, here he is. Are there any others that I should be storing? Oh, I should probably also really prioritize these incubators high. They are getting up there, so that's at least good. This is one of the best ways to artificially grow a population, by the way. If you need to just shove out a bunch of them, and I shouldn't say that it's super speedy, but it's way faster than by default, you can just create a panel like this. Just be aware this will create a lot of heat, and it will create a lot of energy consumption. So you'll need to be on top of that also. Alright, fungal spores, we about to run out. This might be the last row we get. And do we have enough pressure to grow these? Okay, these ones at the bottom are growing, so we're good. We can close this off. This will be kind of a nightmare for my dupes to manage, but you know what? They get to either do something unpleasant or they get to die, so they don't get the choice right now. So stop giving me lip, guys. Did your parents ever say something like that? I feel like a lot of parents... This is a spoiler alert, by the way, but I feel like a lot of the things the parents say are kind of empty threats. They'll threaten a lot of silly stuff, and most of the time it's just to scare you, so... Don't take my advice. Don't take my advice on calling out your parents on any of their threats, because sometimes they are very real, but... Just be like, the oxygen not included guy said that I should do this. I'll take that blame. Alright, I'm just gonna start digging in here now that we are basically out of fungal spores, and we'll be trying to find as many as we possibly can. I'm just gonna copy this to plant more. Starvation. Are we not getting enough shipped? Probably. Doom clock is at 160, so we do not want that to ever reach 0 unless we are confident that we have the replacements up for it. We have enough. Yeah, we're at 0 right now, so we are definitely out. So yeah, time to go mining. Time to figure out how we can survive this. And let's just get up in here, start digging this out. Once this is mostly dug out, and once I have access to all the slime and fungal spores, that'll give us an idea of how long this is going to last. And also how much food we can put out at a time. From there, we should know whether we need to go serious with this water weed stuff. And it'll also kind of help clarify the timeline on when we will be ready with these shovels. I'm also thinking that my quantity requirement of these shovels is probably too low right now. I don't think that 20 of them will push a colony of 100 duplicants. This is just me guessing, though. I could do math to figure this out, but, you know, nuts to math. If I was being responsible, I would totally do the math, but, you know, it's more fun. It's more fun to not know if we're going to live or die, right? Definitely more words of wisdom you should not listen to me on. Okay, let's get all this over as far as we can. Army of dupes is very, what's this word I'm searching for? Prompt, I guess? Oh, speaking of which, not to the promptness, but for the waterweed stuff. If I get bleachstone, I really need to retain this, so I need to find a pool of water that I can store these in. It looks like I'm already storing some here. Maybe I'll just widen this so we can actually have a better... supply of them. So let's just do something like this, I suppose. And this will be our stuff for water weeds. Let's get all this up here first before I close it off. This is crazy how much stuff we're having to juggle right now just to survive, but yeah, it's going to be a thing for a little while. We do at least have some growth. Once our first batch comes through, we'll have an idea of where we're at. I probably want to put in shipping of some sort, but I could also do this manually. So I don't want to have them bringing stuff here, but I could prioritize this a little bit higher so that stuff gets sent in there without having to wait for the shipping to get built. We'll see what happens. Let's see how far these things are. 43%, so these should pay off in probably about 4 cycles. Doom clock is at 158. Just gonna keep building here until we get everything out that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will also be interesting because if I'm running low on water, this is going to give me a big burst of algae as well, so that could at least help stem the tides a little bit. The water is also a concern. This is all I have to work with for oxygen right now. So I need to find another couple of water sources. I think part of this problem is that I have cut off the supply of a lot of my polluted water, and that is because I needed to actually warm it up, because otherwise it would freeze inside these pipes when we send it up to get turned into something else. So yeah, there's a lot of problems happening at the same time, so we need to really find a way to prioritize all this stuff. I don't want this to be sent up this way, so that's all cut off, so that's good. This is fine, I guess. I don't want this to happen. Okay, I think this is fine. Let me send in this little bit of extra water. Okay, what I was doing with this polluted water is I was going to use this to capture some of these other cool steam vents. I might just have to brute force my way through that so that I get the polluted water and I get the extra water from here. Another option is seeing how far along we are here, and we are not very far along at all in terms of turning this in. So if I need to capture this and forget all this melting experiment, then I might do that and just capture this. In fact, this is silly. I should just do this right now. There's no reason for me to wait if I'm worried about running out of water. So let's grab this guy. It's going to look something like that. The maintenance area is going to have to come in from over here, so there's 2 spaces for that. 1 for the sensor, and there we go. Gonna do a ladder. Cancel. I'll just leave this open, because it's not that big a deal. If it's gonna melt anything, like, oh well, I have more water. This is also a little bit what I was worried about by just letting this open inside a biome that's so cold. I'm effectively having water be refrozen, which just makes it even harder to get thawed as a whole. So, yeah, definitely need to change plans here. Gold should be fine. I need to get rid of this building first. And then I need automation for the hydro sensor. And I will need to run power. Which means that we are again going to be running suffocation risks. But my dupes are a little bit more experienced now, so we shouldn't have as much of a problem. I think it's on the right side. Is it? No, it's on the left. I'm wrong. There we go. Okay. Many things going on at once, so I'm apologize for the randomness, but we kind of have to deal with it. This is also the most perilous we've been as far as this entire run of not knowing whether we are going to survive. So hopefully this is enjoyable for you guys. I'm actually kind of liking this. This is a good feeling that I haven't had for a while. In Oxygen Not Included, of just being like, well, I just hope I don't die. Kind of, if you keep running the same runs over and over, and even if you just go to the other asteroids, those runs are not really that difficult, and you kind of have to impose some of these silly challenges to keep going. Oh, this area is too hot also. Fortunately, we have cold, polluted water here, so here we go. If this gets too cold, I'll just undo it and go back to what I was doing before. Yeah, this is some scrapping. Alright, how we doing on the digging efforts? Looks like we're doing pretty well. Looks like we trapped a dupe in here, which is great. She'll get out. See what's coming through this printer. Can't imagine it's going to be anything too game-changing. Hatchling eggs. Some food, I guess. Might as well take it. Can't eat duplicants. Yet. Whoops. We are messing up. Dig this out. I'm hoping that we're finding more fungal spores. I guess I'm not really going to know how fruitful a lot of this is. It'll just kind of occasionally make more mushrooms. And then we'll have 2 doom clocks once we start relying on this quite a bit, and that is also slime, which is here. 143 tons. We should eat through that more slowly, just because it's not going to take as much to get the calories that we need. Alright, Dr. Jeff. Get out of there. Looks like we have some stuff being produced here, so that's good. And this has been cleared out. Let's clear out the ice. Set up a liquid pump. There we go. And some pipes. I don't want this to be set up the same way as this, so I'm going to have to make a second line. Grrr. I feel like grrr is a very comic booky expression. So I think I've said that in real life at some points, and people have just been like, what are you doing? It's apparently not a spoken version of something. Okay. This is getting scary. I think, by the way, as long as we are in this kind of peril and as long as we are at serious risk of death and we're having to scrap like this, I'm just going to keep making these videos back to back, so I hope it's not too slow for you guys, but the whole reason... Oh, here we go. More fungal spores. Yay! It's working. The whole reason that I will cut in a lot of these videos, and I did mention this in a comment recently, that is because a lot of downtime happens in Oxygen Not Included, to the point that if I were to... Oh, someone's peeing on the ground. Well, free oxygen, I guess. If I were to show everything, it would take forever, and especially in the base game, there is a lot of points in which I'm doing nothing but waiting for something to happen. It doesn't happen as much on this run because I have 100 duplicants, but if you have like 15, which is really common, and what I would recommend, honestly, it happens all the time. Okay, let me see how much mealwood we have, and is this enough mushrooms? It might be, or it might be close. Once these produce, I'll have a better idea, and once I start getting up to around maybe like 400,000 calories, I'm going to start digging up the mealwood, so hopefully we can stretch this dirt out a little bit longer. There's not really a great way to get dirt otherwise. Something that we may be able to do if we have the heat to push it is we could take this algae and we could turn that into dirt. Because if you heat algae up enough, it will turn into dirt. What is happening? Oh, a shovel got loose. I don't know why it's hurt, but yeah. Anyway, if you take algae and you heat it up too much, what will happen is it will actually turn into dirt. So that could be another option. A third option is using composting to try to extend our polluted dirt out, which we don't get a tremendous amount of. But yeah, if we heat this up to 257, it will turn into dirt. So that's another option for us to at least generate some dirt from the algae that we're grabbing. But it depends on if we need that algae more for oxygen or more for food by that point. So we're going to be doing some mega scrapping and using mechanics I have never had to use in order to survive. Which is why these challenges are cool, really, and why it's fun to impose some of this stuff on you just to force you to solve problems that you just never had to solve before. This is also something I say about pretty much every game like this. If I were to make a game like this, and I got to a point where my content was pretty much linear, like everybody had kind of figured it out, and you'd have to impose your own challenges to stay entertained, I would just make a challenge mode where you have rules that are exactly like this, that are like, well, you gotta follow these rules, and if you don't, then you're dead. Or you have some kind of mechanism that locks you into it. So, like, if there was a dupe ready to print, it would just only show duplicants, and you could not do anything until you accepted it. So, I mean, there'd be a lot of different ways you could do stuff like that, and I think that would be really cool in a lot of, like, sandboxy type of games, to just basically impose rules on you, or kind of like scenarios. So I'm just going to go ahead and say if there's any modders out there that want to make cool mods for this game, please do that. I would be so happy. Alright, we are coming up on time, so I'm going to call this here. We have managed to progress 4 cycles, but in those 4 cycles, I think if I remember this correctly, and this will be our best calculation, I think this started out about 190 at the beginning of this video, so in about 4 cycles, we lost a little bit over 45 tons or somewhere around there. So it's about 10 tons per cycle. Not as fast as I originally estimated, but it's still very scary. So by that estimation, we have about 15 days before we are totally out of dirt. We'll see where we stabilize there, but I'm going to do that in the next video. So check out the next video of this series if you want to see what happens, whether we live or die. It will happen immediately after this. I will not let any time pass. But yeah, check out the other videos I'm doing as well. I'm doing a run through the new DLC for those of you that are interested in that. And I know I've been promising this for a little while, but I will be doing a ranching tutorial here probably over the weekend is what I'm going to be hoping for. Not sure if it's going to happen because those videos take a lot of preparation, but yeah, that's my plan. So anyway, sorry we're just sitting on a pause screen. That's kind of boring. But yeah, I'll be back with another video here really soon. Until then, take care.